Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Nightmare on Scam Street. Right, so we are going to do something very silly. We are going to fly from Tampa on the west coast of Florida to Orlando, almost in the eye of the hurricane. Hurricane Ted, I think it is. So we're all lined up, we've got clearance, so let's stick our head in the mouth of the tiger and see what happens. So the wind in Orlando is 360 at between 28 and 35 knots. But I think it's probably gusting a lot more than that. So coming up to V1 and VR. Off we go. Bit of side wind there for some reason. Ooh, lots of side wind there. It's probably going to be a bit of a bumpy flight, I would imagine. Trying to remember to do everything this time. Sometimes these takeoffs are quite straightforward, and sometimes they're a bit dicey. This has been one of the fairly straightforward ones. Try and get autopilot engaged as soon as possible. The reason I want to do that is so that we don't have to worry about the wind so much. Because something's blowing us around. Anyway, you'd think there's a hurricane somewhere with the way this wind is blowing us around. Let's try and get into the there we go. Thought we'd get there. So what does that say? Spoilers, ground spoilers armed. We know about those. Pop them down. Flaps are back to normal. And the only other thing it should say is hi, Trump said. Good morning to you. Seatbelts. I think I'll keep the seatbelt signs on for a bit. I'm expecting a little bit of bounciness on this flight. Had a few problems since they upgraded the Fenix aircraft. There's been 2 updates, one after the other, and I think the first one just crashed and I couldn't get it to start again, and the second update I think was to fix the crash from the first update, which is fair enough. So up to 13,000. It's really weird when you're at the wrong side of the controls. $13,000. Make that a managed speed climb. So I reckon it should start getting windy in our flight plan. If we look at the plan, it's not that far, to be honest, between Tampa and Orlando, but I reckon when we get to about here, this is when we're going to start feeling the wind gusting at us. Okay, I've still got the APU on, so we shall get rid of that. Should have done that earlier. So, yeah, I don't think it's a long flight today. Let's see. We're probably already a quarter of the way there, but as we come over to this side, that's where the winds are. I had a look at the weather in various areas, and it was abundantly clear that where the excuse me, where the eye of the hurricane is just now, it's somewhere between Orlando and Miami, I think. But of course, as you get to it, that's when you start noticing the changes in speed. At the moment, we're doing ground speed and airspeed are pretty similar, which means that we're okay. That's the wind is quite fast. So as you can see by the the blue line on our charts here shows the point that we're going to reach our preset altitude, which is 13,000 feet. That's actually the cruising altitude for this flight. And that point there with the white arrow is when we're going to need to start descending. And the ETP, the equal time point, I think it's called, it's probably something different, is when it's just as quick to go back to Tampa as it is to go forward to Orlando. So now we've got to go down. As I said, once we reach that point, we'll see if we can see anything on the radar. I thought they might have introduced weather radar on this option. I think Microsoft are supposed to have released the data for it, but I don't think they have. Might just be that there's a particular setting I've got to make. I'm letting the AI pilot do all the radio comms. My two cheats in this are using the AI for comms and using the taxiway lighting. So the wind is at 4 degrees 44 knots. That's so if we're coming in at 0 degrees, effectively 36, that means we've got only 7 degrees of crosswind. That's not bad. It should be able to land it in that, except it's now up to 45 knots. I would look outside, but I don't think there's a great deal to see. I think it's just mostly clouds, stars above us, and not much in the middle, I guess. I've got live weather on, so it should be using the wind data, etc., from where it is. Of course, we're in America, so we're using the old inches of mercury type QNHs. Oh, they want us to 5,000. I must have missed that. Sometimes they miss instructions, and you look back and you think, no, they never told me that. So when we get to Silky, that's when we should be hopefully at our approach, get our approach nice and stabilized from then on. We'll try and get some speed reduction. Once we turn onto the path of the runway, we will be battered by wind, I think. So we're at the height that air traffic control wants us to be. Right now I'm going to put my gear down because it's a good time to put it down. It'll help me control my speed when we're doing the last bits of the descent. Looking for 3 greens. 2933. They're really low air pressure. That's because the eye of the storm is really near them. 2933 is incredibly low. (2933). Well, I don't think I've ever seen a QNH that low. Right, back to put some more brakes on. Put the speed up managed. I have a feeling we're going to be going round because I'm not set up. So we're still very high, and we're only 5 miles. I reckon we might get down. So we've got flaps 3, flaps full. Now we should be able to get down in time, I'm hoping. We're okay on the on that side. We just need to get down lower. I think we're going to fly over the runway, which is going to be annoying. There's the runway. Oh, we might make it. That's the last words of a pilot, that. Oh, we might make it. Right, I've gone to manual. Shush. Shush, shush, shush. So with the wind coming at us at 40 odd knots, we're actually using less out. We can drop quicker because of the and we're down. Oh no, we've bounced. That was terrible. That was absolutely awful. I can't believe I did that. We took a ride through the green stuff. We've got full reverse engines going. Don't need that anymore. Not as windy as I thought it would be, actually. Well, there you go. I'm not going to go all the way to the gates. It takes a long time sometimes, and it's not very interesting. So that's just a short flight. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your watching. and we'll see you again soon. This is Nightmare on Scam Street with